I am Bessie Bourdonnais, president of the Harriet Tubman Foundation. My family grew up here in Simpsonville. My grandmother lived right on Cedar Lane.
My name is Melvin Kelly. I grew up in Simpsonville, Maryland. I am currently one of the members of the Maryland Commission on African American History and Culture. Well, I spent the first 17 years of my life in Simpsonville. In fact, I was born on Cedar Lane.
During the early to mid-1800s, Harriet Tubman and thousands of slaves risked their lives by escaping on the Underground Railroad. Many of those who sought freedom came through Howard County.
There's a lot of things that came into play as to why people came to Howard County. I think it's probably because of the Middle Patuxent and the Patapsco River. They both were areas where free slaves could easily escape and not be found. Also, I think it was also access to Ellicott City, to Baltimore, to the B&O Railroad, and also proximity to Pennsylvania, because Pennsylvania was considered to be free. Another factor in the county being used by runaway slaves was the population of Quakers that lived in the county. And there still exists a Quaker safe house that is here in Simpsonville, right at the corner of Cedar Lane and Harriet Tubman Lane.
It was an old house, a stone house, built into the side of a hill. We were told stories that slaves had passed through and stayed there on the way north.
The Quakers played a big part in it because they were definitely against slavery, and they would do anything that they could that was within the law to help the slaves. They hid some of the slaves in the upstairs of some of the houses, and more specifically toward the houses that were close to the railroad tracks. Over in the Elkridge area, I remember speaking to a gentleman where in the upstairs, they would put the slaves up there, and when they heard the train coming, they would get them down and scoot them over to where the train was when they were coming through. In the Simpsonville area, I'm sure that there were tunnels, there were, as we said before, the rivers where they would kind of like hide so that the slaves could be ready when they had to make a move quickly.
In Howard County, there were numerous natural places to hide.
The old cave down on what used to be Route 32, now Harriet Tubman Lane, near the intersection of Cedar Lane. I was told that when we were younger that possibly some slaves had slept there.
I don't know how many times she came through the Howard County area, so I can't really speculate as to what she really knew. If she had picked up some slaves prior to, they may have said to her, over at Simpsonville, there's a cave, you might want to look through there when you come through the next time. There is a possibility that she could have slept over near the Locust Church for the simple reason that there are several graves over there. Up close to where the church is, there are some older graves. I think she could have slept just about anywhere. I know that if I had been Harriet Tubman and I was running all night, I'd just plop down anywhere so I can get some rest.
Many of the fugitive and freed slaves were able to find work in the Howard County area.
Here in the county, there was quite a bit of work. They needed someone to work the field. They needed someone to take care of the animals. They needed someone to do a lot of the work. They also needed people to work inside of the houses to help clean the houses, help take care of the children. I would say that quite a few of the slaves worked at the Simpsonville mill to help out. At that mill, they were manufacturing linen. They were doing other things. So there was quite a bit of work that could be done here in Howard County.
On November 1st, 1864, Maryland slaves were emancipated by the state constitution. In 1865, the 13th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution abolished slavery in the entire country.